This is Philip Chow. I'm the founder and chief investment officer of Experiential Wealth. So what I'm going to talk a little bit about is inflation, stagflation, and recession, or in reverse, whichever way. But those are the three possibilities that we are experiencing. So inflation is what we're experiencing now, all of us experiencing that the prices are higher than we have experienced for a long time. And when there's high inflation, it makes goods and services less affordable. That's very easy to understand. To conquer inflation is for the Federal Reserve is to raise interest rate. And so hopefully that will dampen demand. All of us spending money will spend less of it because we feel less comfortable spending money because it's harder to get the kind of money that we need, for example, from wages, or even borrow the money because the cost of borrowing has gone up. So that's one way to fight inflation. And one of the things that you probably hear from time to time is, will the Fed blink? Well, what does that mean? Why would somebody want to blink? Well, blink means, are they going to be able to stop increasing rates before inflation is really under control? Because you could just keep raising interest rate and inflation doesn't come down enough, you're going to destroy the economy, totally destroy it, right? And this time around, the inflation is not created by demand only, it's also by supply. And there's not much we can do about supply. The only thing we can do is demand, is to minimize spending. So if the Fed blinks before their target is reached, which is 2% inflation, we are at 9.1% at the moment. It's going to take a bit of time, quite a bit of increase in interest rate. If they stop somewhere around 5, and they stop, well, we're still 5%. That's 3% more than their target. Then what do we have? We still have inflation, and we still have a very slow, much slowing economy. So we have a very much slowing economy with inflation. It's what we call stagflation. Low growth, high inflation. That's not good. Low growth is not good for anybody because we don't get better jobs, we don't get better pay, we don't get whatever that we need to do to grow an economy. And it's bad because inflation is going higher. So whatever we do is not sufficient to maintain a certain standard of living, to bring the country to the next level. So stagflation is probably the worst of all world. And that is a 1970s experience. And that was exactly when Arthur Burns, chairman at the time of Federal Reserve, kind of stopped raising rates because he was very concerned about recession. So now, well, let's go to recession. If we can bring the demand down to bring inflation down, one of the problems with all that is that we may end up in recession. Recession technical definition is quarter by quarter, back to back, negative GDP number, meaning that we are actually going backwards in our economy. 2 quarters is nothing. Well, we can also sustain 2 quarters, but it could be 8 quarters, could be 10 quarters, right? So is that worse? Yes, it feels worse. But when we're done with recession, we're coming out with a new economic cycle and we're back to growth again. Stagflation doesn't get you there. So the cure to stagflation, guess what? Is increasing interest rate. We can no longer sustain the stagflation. Then the Federal Reserve will come in and say, gosh, I guess I blinked too early. Now let's raise rates all over again. So it's just really basically taking a pause. And so that's not probably going to be the best for everyone. Because in the long run, we're still going to end up in recession. It's just a matter of when we're going to do it.